It's David from the Redneck Garage. It's a very sad day. We have a very critical patient. Let's take a look back and take a look at his symptoms. Now, I'm coming to you from the pre-op section of our operation on the transplant for our patient, and I'm hoping that we can have a successful transplant and the patient can live again. It's very critical at this juncture. Now, what we're going to be doing with this patient is replacing his BBD carburetor, which in the past video, I'll put a link up here, it described the problems with it and why it's a terrible, terrible situation. Hopefully, the patient will make a full recovery and be back to his old self. So let's get going. All right, I'm over at a foreign operating room. I'm not at the Redneck Garage, which has all the accoutrements of like a modern operating room. So this is like operating in Uganda or somewhere like that, out on the field. And this is our patient, and they're not doing well. They're not doing well at all. So we're going to start the transplant procedure. Let me make the first incision. We've got her opened up. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and start taking off all the stuff here, getting down to the carburetor, and then we can start actually the reassembly process. But we got to get the old carburetor off, get the lines unhooked, and then kind of go from there. Holy crap, there's more lines and IVs going into this patient. Look at all these stinking vacuum lines. Can you imagine that any leak in any one of those can cause it to run like crap? So yeah, it makes sense that that would be you know, pretty much an issue. Holy moly. There it is. We got this nasty BB&D piece of crap carburetor off of there, and it's been rebuilt. I mean, it doesn't look like it's in bad shape. I think too many people monkeyed with it trying to adjust it, and when they did that, because the needles on these, on the end of the stepper valve, go in and out, because you can't really adjust it that way, and it adjusts your timing and everything else. So these are just garbage. So now I'm going to pull out the instructions, and we're going to look at what we need to do to clean this up and get the adapter plate and everything else for the Weber on. I can tell you, if I got instructions in my hand, it's not a fun thing. These are usually the last thing I look at, but when you're doing a carburetor, you basically got to start looking at some instructions. Otherwise, you might be doing it all over again. So I'm going to read up, and then we're going to get started putting it back together. First thing you got to do is take all the studs out. So I got this one double nutted, and we're going to see if it'll come off of there. I'm hoping. There we go. So I got to get the other three of them out of there. We're in good shape. Okay, so I got it all cleaned off, all the studs out, and I've got my adapter here, and it's going to go on first, and then I've got some Allen head bolts that screw down first. So we're going to go ahead and install that in this portion. Next thing we do is put the second adapter plate here. It's got a fitting on the front, and it's got two Allen head bolts that go right here and here, and it'll screw that down. Alright, the carburetor's on. I got all those bolts tight. The ones on the inside were kind of a pain. I needed a stubby. I didn't have a stubby because I'm not at the Redneck Garage. However, we got it on. Now I'm working on the linkage that mounts, and I got another rod. I don't even know what it does. Oh, there it is. Return spring and bracket. Alright, anyway, so we're going to get the bracket on and see what happens. Alright, I got it on. The hardest part over here was this stupid linkage. I still got a couple more lines to mess around with, just the vacuum lines. But we got the linkage hooked up to the throttle. Got a fuel line on. These are just vacuum lines, so we're going to crank it. Alright, that's without any adjustment at all. That's just firing it up. I'm sure I've got a couple of vacuum leaks I can use a smoker on. I also need to adjust the idle, and sounds good, man. I've got to reroute a couple vacuum lines, make sure they're all done right, but it's idling again. What do you think?
Better than it has been for years.
not okay, but it will be. All right, I'm drinking my Blue Moon White Belgium Ale. Awesome. But that was a good lick for today. I still have to do some adjusting. We've got to go through the vacuum lines. I'm going to read a little bit more on which lines I can take off and where they sit to route them. It's getting dark today and I'm tired and I need to go home and drink some more beer. However, Devin's Jeep is running. He actually drove it up and down the street, as you well saw. So we're well on our way to getting this baby running like a top again. So it's been a really, really good day and I'm excited about that. Stay tuned. We'll have more on this Jeep and the carburetor conversion. And I've got a Jeep at home that maybe one day I'll work on. I'm Dave from the Redneck Garage. Keith, turn the wrenches.